Good morning, everybody. Yo, what's up? Welcome to season two. Season two, where it's going to be like a big ordeal, everything in the mix rolling in. We've got some stuff we're going to be dropping. One of the biggest things, of course, it's week 18. And to some people, week 18 is Club Med. It's hang out. It's just, sit on the sidelines, watch everything happen. You're going to lose a game, you're going to win a game. It's basically going to be like he said, she said football. Does anybody care, though? Probably not. Are they going to be watching? Let's put it this way. I'd rather watch paint dry than the usual suspect of like certain things that like have been going on. And what does that mean for me? Like it's basically another day, another time, another zone. That, hey, look at this. This guy's here. This guy's here. But you get to see everything going on in action that you probably wouldn't expect. And of course, we'll cover up like a couple other games. We'll go into like some stuff that has like basically already happened. The beauty part, though, is like I was hoping to go live tonight. I had a couple things that like actually kicked my rear end, so I wasn't able to go live right at 8 o'clock as I wanted to. However, there's no game. So like there's not really anything you can really talk about. It's kind of boring. Far-fetched, beyond belief. Nothing too like hideous, nothing too crazy. But I've got the schedule here. And I'm holding it. One of the only things that's really, really hyping me up, and I'm thinking about it more and more, Minnesota Detroit Sunday Night Football is probably one of the most hot commodities that you would ever want to get into to watch. Why? That's a battle for the North. Now, I know there's other topics that like a lot of people are going to be like, oh man, like you're really going to like swing the fences with that one. Oh, I'm just going to get your take and run out of here. That's cool, man. Get my take, run the hell out the door. It's all good. But the reason why Minnesota Detroit is probably like the biggest thing you want to look at is because Minnesota versus Detroit, it's either A, gonna go down 2.0 in the playoffs, and one of those two teams are probably my top pick for wiping out Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City. Now, my huge bet is a lot of people out there are probably sitting there rooting for Detroit. Dan Campbell has done a phenomenal job with everything he's done in Detroit. Right now, he is the man. You give him the keys to the kingdom. He's running amok. He's making it look easy. But what is he doing? He's playing to everybody around him. He's given that nostalgia of everything. Like he's basically a warmed up, ready to go. If this man could throw on pads, he'd be in there with them. That's the kind of coach that I would play for. Why? How do you not say no to Dan Campbell? Has anybody heard the Dan Campbell rumblings that go on a normal basis anywhere? Dan Campbell's the coach's coach. He's the guy. I know I just basically did a Chris Collinsworth. Now here's a guy that's going to break your right hand and be everything you really want to be. Chris, you're wrong, but it's okay. No, the subject of the subject at hand is, yes, Dan Campbell is probably one of the hottest commodity coaches you could ever want. I mean, I didn't see this type of hype and thunder when he was short-lived with Miami. And to the fact that, like, when he came into Detroit, he was just so gung-ho, work with the boys, like, make sure they've got leadership, make sure they've got everything they need, taking Jared Goff under his wing to be a pure leader. And there's been no turning back. He's done everything for the city of Detroit right now. And to get them as deep as the NFC game last year, it's one shy of his goal of where he wanted everybody. So now you've got Dan Campbell, who's basically put in that board, you're looking at Super Bowl or bust. If I'm him, yeah, on the walls, in the playbooks, any which way you want to ride the pine with that, this has to be Super Bowl or bust. You can't stop short. You're either going to play a Kansas City team that, I'm going to say it, sneaks into the Super Bowl. And when I mean sneak, I mean Chris Collinsworth sniffing his positivity to Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes doing his little, okay, and then acting like Kermit the Frog, going, yay! I'm okay. Or you're going to get a Buffalo team that's going to go in there and want to play hard. And the last time the Bills were in a Super Bowl, I believe it was during the Jim Kelly era. Last time Bills were in the Super Bowl, January 30th, 1994. Oh, I was a young turnip back then. Think I just sprouted a little bit. But in all honesty, do they have a team that can go into the Super Bowl and win? Yeah. The Bills do. Minnesota does. Detroit, even with their beaten up, hey, we're injured. We know it. But we're still going to wipe the floor with you. I mean, playoff picture right now. ...2024 NFL playoff picture. Let's see this. Really? So the teams that have been eliminated, at no surprise, the Colts, the Jets, the Raiders, the Jaguars, the Browns, the Titans, the Seahawks, the Cowboys, the Cardinals, the 49ers, the Saints, the Bears, the Panthers, the Giants, and the Patriots. The worst teams in the league right now, the Giants, the Patriots, and the Titans, and the Browns. All four have 3-13 records. Who's the worst of the bunch? According to the league, the Patriots. Why? So, Monday night happened. Everything else was drawn up. And the one thing that we didn't get to do when we were live was understand that the Patriots knocked their way into having a first round pick at number 1. So right now, if everything goes as hogwash and everything in between that the Patriots are expecting, they're going to come up with the number 1 pick of the draft. So last year, they played poo. They got poo. Number 3. Great. Cool. Grand. Fantastic. Congratulations. Now they play like absolute dog crap. Because the last time I've seen a Patriots team this bad, no. What am I usually seeing? 13-3. And they didn't care about drafting last. Why? Because they still picked some damn good players, even in the back part of the draft. Some of the hard-nosed guys were in the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th friggin' rounds. Wait, you mean you don't have to take a top guy? That's right, Ted. You don't have to. But why? Why would you not have to take a top guy? Well, because you don't. It's in the cards. It's in the mix. So now they have this lovely feature on the bubble. So the on the bubble is the teams would be on the outside looking in if the season ended today. The Dolphins, the Falcons, the Bengals. And then the in the hunt. If the season ended today, these teams would make the playoffs. The Broncos, the Buccaneers. So the Broncos are going to have a very, very hard go. The Broncos are going to have to play everybody, go into like what their expectation is, because they're playing Kansas City. So not only do they have to play the Chiefs, but they have to play the refs. That's going to be hard. The Falcons are playing Carolina. But the Buccaneers are also playing New Orleans. So can you see the Buccaneers taking that spot? Yeah. I mean, right now, there's so many possibilities. But like right now, first in the AFC West is the Chiefs. The Bills at 13-3, they're first in the AFC East. Ravens are first in the North. And the Texans are first in the AFC South. The Steelers are second in the AFC North, and the Chargers are second in the AFC West. The Broncos are third. Dolphins are second in the East, and the Bengals are third in the North. So the Chargers are already in. So the Broncos, Dolphins, Bengals, one of those are going in. And then the part I just don't understand is like, There's supposed to be 8 teams. Oh, wait, there's 7 teams. I'm sorry. I'm like sitting here doing the math wrong. Don't mind me. So the reason being is because the top seed gets the bye. And then you get like the 6 teams that play. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. So right now the Buccaneers are like eyeballing that last spot. The Falcons have possibility of taking it. The Lions are 14-2, first in the NFC North. The Eagles are 13-3, they're first in the East. The Rams are 10-6, they're first in the West. The Vikings are 14-2, they're second in the NFC North. Commanders and Packers are both 11-5. Commanders are second in the East. The NFC North is like strong. Like both Vikings and Lions are 14-2. And then the Packers are 11-5. That's that's actually pretty good. I mean, the Commanders 11-5, second in the NFC East. It's still amazing to the fact that the Dolphins used to be a 10+ win team, and now they're 8-8. 8-8. How do you get in there like that? Well, for games in the schedule, so Saturday, you can watch the Browns and the Ravens. That's basically like a wash game. You could probably see the Ravens starting the game, getting a little bit of mojo going, switching over to like the last guys, just to make sure they're solid for wherever they are. So I think they're good. The Bengals, they're going to be basically playing everybody going hard, hitting hand over fist, as they're trying to win in. They're playing the Steelers. Sunday the 5th, we've got Panthers, Falcons, Commanders, Cowboys, Bears and Packers, Jaguars and Colts, Bills and Patriots. Going to be talking about them in a minute. Giants and Eagles, Saints and Buccaneers, Texans and Titans, 49ers and Cardinals. That's a game, who cares? Chiefs and Broncos. That's a game the Broncos are going to try to win. Seahawks and Rams, Chargers, Raiders, Dolphins, Jets. And then you end it with, the Vikings and the Lions. There's a lot of aspects that you're going to hold back with. You already know where the Eagles stand. The Buccaneers are vying for a spot. The Texans and Titans are pretty much out. Niners and Cardinals out. Broncos are eyeballing their spot. Rams are in. Seahawks are out. Chargers are in. Raiders are out. Dolphins are on the cusp. Jets are like Aaron Rodgers, wash. Vikings Lions to just see who takes the friggin' North. Now, there's a reason also why I focus on this game. 14-2. It's the end of the season. Last game. That's how you're ending the regular season. 2 juggernauts in defense, in passing, in everything that their expectation is. One of them, like I said, is definitely going to the Super Bowl. You don't get better script writing than that in order to finish off a season. Where you're going to go, like, it's like Evander Holyfield and Mike Tyson just decided to friggin' throw down. And I'm not going to compare the Jake Paul comparison because that blew. But you're holding on to like probably something that's going to catch your eye in week 18. Because you're going to see young people play. You're going to see a lot of things going on. But something along the lines of Minnesota-Detroit, that's going to be a game of games. That's going to be a bomb factory. One of them can easily just say, you know something, I'm sitting my guys. Take the top seed. I don't care. I'll go into like the other week. I'll play the guys and we'll go into it. Can I see the Lions doing that? Yeah. Can I also see Minnesota doing that? Yeah. But here's a point before I switch over to another guy. This is probably stark points that you have to look at because Sam Darnold right now is, good God, he is by far top tier quarterback for the league. And you've got to give it up for like where that goes. I'm just, ooh. Whew. I just want to see the game. But Sam Darnold's turned it around. You've got to give the kid props. You've got to give him everything that he needs. Why? Everything that he's done has been superb. It's been on par to the point. For even stating that Minnesota, after Kirk Cousins left, that they, like, if you told anybody in the league that Minnesota was going to be 14-2, if anybody said, oh yeah, I knew that, bullshit, you did. Did you expect Sam Darnold to be like one of the better quarterbacks of the season? No. Maybe skimping off a couple games. 14-2? What crack pipe have you hit that is going to make me say, yeah, buddy, I believe you? Because I don't, and I'll tell you why. There's a thing called ain't nobody believed in Sam Darnold since he left the Jets. Ain't nobody except that man's mama, maybe his pa, that's going to believe in Sam Darnold when he took over Minnesota. No. Nobody was believing in the kid. Okay? People wrote him off in New York. People wrote him off in Carolina. People wrote him off anywhere he basically went. So the idea that he joined Minnesota in order to be something, oh, he was something, all right. And he still is because he wows everybody when they look at it. Like, you can't, and I mean you can't, talk bad about that kid. I'll even show you his stats, for crying out loud. Teams. Where is he? Vikings. Roster. Here we go. Sam Darnold. What is his stats? There they are. Give you player info first. So this man went from 3 years in a Jets uniform to 2 years in a Panthers uniform to 1 year in a Niners uniform to probably his best stats since playing 6 games in a Panthers uniform. Why do you say that? That man started 6 games for the Panthers. 82 completions out of 140, 1,100 yards, average 8.2. He was 7 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 10 sacks only. He had a 92.6. That was his better of. So, scrolling down, Minnesota, all 16 games, 343 of 504, 4,100 yards. That's the top tier that he's ever hit. The last time he hit anything over 3,000 was back in 2019, his second year with the Jets. He's 35 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. Yeah, he had 46 sacks. Cool. His rate, 106.4. All I'm telling you is that is a man who has recreated himself. And yeah, you can say the offensive line did something. Of course it did. It's an offensive line. You're not having to worry about like 3 different things like coming in to attack you. Okay? Sam Darnold has more protection than friggin' Mac Jones and Drake May combined. And that's pardon me. And that's with David Andrews included. I just don't know what to tell you. Those are stats. And for him, he's going to get a payday. Somebody's going to say, hey, we got a line, we got this, we want to go in. You're going to get something out of it. Well, somebody is. But there's another player I'm really wanting to talk about right now, though. Now that I think about it. I'm not an Eagles fan. In no way am I anything that I can like sit there and be like, ooh. But Saquon Barkley, that man has put on a clinic this year. Because this man right now he's the last time he had anything over well, I shouldn't say that. There's 2 times he had 1,300 yards. His rookie season in 2022. He's got 2,005 this time. 13 touchdowns, 33 receptions, 278 yards, 2 touchdowns. He's only fumbled twice, and you lost it once. But if you're looking at what Saquon is right now, he's a destructive back. The Eagles acquiring him instead of him staying in New York, my God, New York, shoot yourself in the foot. Like, it's so sad. This is a guy that, like, Joe, it's disappointing. And, like, why do I bring it up and why am I talking about it? Because Nick Sirianni has decided to sit Saquon. And it's understandable that this man has 101 yards to surpass Eric Dickerson, where he's got 2,005 rushing yards right now. He needs 101 and he'll pass it. Is it something that Derrick Henry is going to catch up to? No. But Eric Dickerson set that in 1984 with the Rams. For someone to be knocking on the door at 100 yards plus to break that record is beyond belief. He's the 9th player in NFL history to rush for 2,000 yards. And he also became the first 2,000-yard rusher to hit the milestone in his second NFL team. That's amazing. Barkley pretty much looks like an entirely different back. And what do you do about that? Well, there's not really much you can actually say or do. You know? I mean, you had your chance to go back to the Giants. The Giants were... I think they had their moment of where they wanted to be and what they wanted to do and how they wanted to go into it. And I don't really see the fact that, like, they went anywhere, like, really high. So what does that do for somebody like Saquon? He goes out, he finds a team. He finds a team that, well, is not in a hunt for last place. He goes and finds a team that is not something that is battling for, a first round pick or a first round something. What are you looking for? You're looking for playoff contention. You're looking to get in. You're looking to get to the promised land. You're looking to get to the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl. Is there anybody, like, that really, really thinks, and please someone tell me, does anybody really, really think that the Chiefs are going to get anywhere near the Super Bowl this year? Let me go back to the NFL page, because right now, like, I'm looking at the playoff picture. I understand the Chiefs are 15-1. Our conversation with them being 15-1 has been they've played subpar teams and they've been subpar. They got blown away by the Bills. If I had to look at a few teams, the Bills can probably wipe the floor with them. The Ravens can probably wipe the floor with them. The Steelers. No. The Chargers. The defense has been hyped. I definitely say it. And out of the Broncos, Dolphins, and Bengals, I have a feeling that the Broncos are going to go in and the Dolphins are going to be left behind. Tua's already not playing. Joe Burrow is already woken up. Hibernation is over. With the Bengals and the way they've played, can you take out a Kansas City team? Yeah. So the Bengals, the Broncos, I'm going to say it, 9-7, third in the West. Take some of the beginning games from the year with the Broncos. And if you revert those to wins, this team probably has the AFC West as number 2. They're probably up there with the Chargers. They might be even 11-5. They may be 12-4. But I see them as second in the West. So what does that mean? You can go up against Kansas City and probably wipe the floor with them. Actually, I believe check the schedule. I'm pretty sure that Kansas City has already played the Broncos. Full schedule. Here we go. Okay. Just for humor. Baltimore Ravens 27-20 at Arrowhead. If you're playing Lamar Jackson right now, that ain't no 27-20. Cincinnati, week 2, 26-25 by 1. Chargers 17-10. Yep. There it is. Week 10. 16-14. By 2. They beat Carolina by 3. Week 13. 19-17. They beat the Raiders by 2. The following week, they beat the Chargers by 2. This is probably, granted anything else going on. Mind you, also they lost all their preseason games just to be 15-1. I'm holding myself in high regard that I do not see them winning. I do not see them taking any spot going forward. They're going to get into the game. I see them flopping like crazy. Referees helping them out. And then after that, I mean, if I really have to look at a team, the Bills and Ravens are probably going to be a pretty good battle. The Chargers, I'm a little concerned about. The Broncos are probably the sleeper team. And the Bengals, if they're woken up and they get past the Dolphins, they're the wild card upon wild cards. Because depending upon who they play and how they get into where they are, that's going to be the heavy. The Texans, no. The Steelers, no. The Chiefs, you're gone through to 0-0. Bottom line is somebody's going to make up the team. Somebody's going to do something. Now, when I look at the NFC, Packers, Commanders have the sneakiest of sneakies. Vikings, they're already a powerhouse. The Eagles hold themselves. The Lions, they're the kings. The Buccaneers can get a lot done, but it's going to take a lot. It is going to take a lot. I'm really going to the fact that the Lions are going to wipe the floor. Lions, Bills, I'd want to see. Lions, Ravens, I'd be open to. Vikings, Chargers, Vikings, Bills, Packers, Bills. I just have a feeling the Lions, even though they're injury upon injury, I think they're winning it for the boys. My money would go on the Lions. I know a lot of people go, oh, what about the Chiefs? I have no faith in the Chiefs. And to anybody who's literally going to, oh, you just hate Patrick Mahomes, you hate this guy, oh, you think the Chiefs suck because you are a Patriots fan. Nope. It's not the reason. The reason is because I believe in the Lions. I believe in what Dan Campbell puts together. The Chiefs, there's so many games that are won and decided by this margin. You do not have a bull's ass in beating that margin against the Lions, against the Eagles, against the Vikings. You have played one team that has been top tier. And it was the Bills. You played the Ravens in game one, and they struggled a little bit with everything, but they started to come within their own. The Bills have basically been who they are. They came into your house, stomped you, left a mud hole in you. What would happen if you played the Lions, the Eagles? Hell, what happens if you played the Vikings? With the offenses as explosive as they are, do you think your defense is holding them? No. There's Swiss cheese in the Chiefs' defense, and it happens all the time. They break down all the time. I have no faith in it, and that's just from my standpoint. I could see the Chiefs going the way that Andy Reid did in the time he went into the Super Bowl with the Eagles. He's going to go in there this year, and he's just going to make a mountain out of a molehill, and it's not going to be pretty. Not going to be pretty. But now let's talk about what we actually want to talk about while I take the next 15 minutes of my time. Can anybody tell me the absolute bullshit that is portraying the New England Patriots right now? A 3-13 team. A team that should have been at least mid-tier, a little bit more on the defensive curve, took someone like the Bills to a push game very, very high to where like it was just a one possession. There's a lot of pieces that it seems like the Patriots are missing. And now they have, going into week 18, they're the number one pick to take in the draft. And of course, a lot of people are already saying, well, who do you take? Who do you pick? Do you pick a defender? Do you go like top tier? Do you trade? Here's another question I have. Who's your coach? Look, I was leaving work, and 3 people sent me something. And it's not like it's like the Prada news or anything like that, but it's making it out to be like a free agent coach is eyeing his rightful place to be into the Patriots bench this year. If that's true, then my thoughts still stick with what I actually held down. If Mike Vrabel becomes the coach of the Patriots, I still have a feeling that Gerard is a fall guy. Here's a moment that if you're a Golden Girls fan, you'll get it. Picture it. NFL. Titans bye week. The Titans give permission to Mike Vrabel to actually go to Gillette Stadium and be inducted into the Patriots Hall of Fame. Why? Because he was a Patriot. He was a good player. He was great. So he goes. Makes nicey nice with Kraft. Makes nicey nice with Bill. Makes nicey nice with everybody else. He's schmoozing. He's getting in there. Well, the Titans find out that he had a good time. He schmoozed. He did a couple things. And then there's rumblings. Here's the next coach of the New England Patriots. No. He's our coach. You know, I feel like they're tampering. Well, you want him so bad? Dismissed. Stays a free agent. Doesn't sign with the Patriots. Gerard Mayo named head coach. Vrabel goes to the Browns. As basically someone to help out. So he goes down to the Browns. His contract just expired. Mayo's been on the hot seat and God knows how long. And we've talked about this. Does anybody really want friggin' Mayo back? The chants in the stadium were stated to be so ridiculous of fire Mayo. To me, that screams, don't bring him back. And am I looking at Robert Kraft? No. Am I looking at Jonathan? I'm looking at Jonathan Kraft for one simple reason. Jonathan Kraft is the guy. Robert's going to have plenty of airtime, plenty of moments, but I think Jonathan gets the pick here. He needs to be a little bit more assertive. He needs to get the ball rolling. And in order to give his dad a positive team going forward, I have a feeling that Mayo is not the guy, but Vrabel is. Will Levis wasn't a bad quarterback with Mike Vrabel there. He's gotten extremely worse. They've released a lot of their weapons. They've got rid of a lot of their talent. They've basically gone bottom of the barrel. They're showing it right now with their record. To state you handled the Mike Vrabel experiment correctly would be an understatement. You handled it like shit. Mike Vrabel, his first year, second year, stud head coach. Winning coach of the locker room. Kind of like Dan Campbell right now. He wins over the boys, gets a lot done. Derrick Henry's happy. Then all of a sudden, there's GM interference. Sound familiar? So you go from like all this hype to leaving it all on the line. And then you blame the coach for failing when you've gotten rid of everything. It's kind of like you're watching Major League. And it's when they cut down all the crappy equipment. They give them absolutely nothing. They even give them a shit plane to fly back and forth during away games. If it was that hard, yeah, you're going to struggle. And especially when you look at the team he had, it's not a movie where you're going to be like, yeah, we're going to make this happen. No. You get a bunch of bums, you're going to be a bunch of bums. That's what became of the Titans. Bums. You know, a lot of people were sitting there like, oh, yeah, well, they traded for Calvin Ridley. Cool. What'd you do with him? Meh. Hey, we won the DeAndre Hopkins sweepstakes. You know what that means? Means shit. Looking at me on YouTube just doing that raspberry right there. Yeah. And it's true. It's a bunch of shit. You've got nothing upon nothing to like literally go into like what you're saying. And the part I love is the people that want Mayo. Oh, why would you bring Mike Vrabel into the fray for? He sucks. He's not a good coach. He doesn't know. His last years in the team, he sucked. Look at his first years in the team. His first year, he struggled. Brought the team together. Brought everything else together. Made it work. Chemistry, he made it work. Everything else, he made it work. He built what Gerard Mayo was supposed to build in New England his first year. It's called culture. You're supposed to bring that as a whole. Make it wonderful. Make it to where like, hey, man, I want to come to work. I want to do everything I'm doing. Hey, like, I want to play with this controller. Yay. Not, oh, crap, I got to go on that field and play these guys with this bum. I don't want to. I'm going against it. So they're going to have the first pick of the draft too. Is Elliott Wolf going to be here? I mean, is there something that like? Let me put it in this manner where like I feel about Elliott Wolf. I feel like he's not a gung-ho person to choose what he's doing. I think he's making a little bit like what Green Bay is. But Gerard Mayo ain't Matt LaFleur. He's kind of like 3, 4, 5 steps down. And I know a lot of people will sit there, oh, you didn't give Mayo a chance. No, I really did. The comments, the bullshit, the accusations, the everything and a half, we're not going to tolerate this, we're not going to do this, we're not going to do that, we're going to do this. Hey! No. Bunch of trash. How he talks about his coaches, how he talks about his team, how he talks about like everything else. The guy's not culture-based. And it's more negative and it's more demeaning and demoralizing than what you actually expect. Are there better coaches out there that can basically take the Patriots to where they need to be? Yes. Are you missing out with Jerod Mayo? No. Is there going to be another chance he can go to another team and flop so badly? I just have a feeling you're going to get this first round pick. First round, second round, third, like first, second, or third in the first round. Whichever way you pick, whichever way you do, however you do it, wherever you do it. Jerod Mayo is not the man to lead them. Do I have a strong manner to the fact that Mike Vrabel is? Yes. Does he carry well? Yes. Does he hold himself high? Yes. Is he a positive man? Yes. Is he like Bill? There's some characteristics. I mean, he's defensive-minded, and I mean, hell, he was a way better player than Jerod. To have an understanding of the game and to do what you've done, especially where he's gone on the field and has played Bill's game and won. Not a lot of coaches can say that. Bill basically takes these first-round guys or these first-time coaches and makes them lunch meat. He didn't do that with Vrabel. It was a head-to-head. Damn it, Bill. I got you. Week 18. It's not another week. It's a lot of thoughts. It's a lot of process. It's a lot of things that you got to basically put together and actually make and do. And it's the road to the Super Bowl where like you're going to get through the pearly gates of the playoffs. And here's your, oh man, I'm 9-9. Nope, not anymore. You're 0-0. How you go up the ladder and into the playoffs is going to be all you. That's, that's where you got to go, you bastard. You got to figure that out. And I've got faith that a lot of teams are. You know, a lot of people come in and they're like, oh, I'm the big dog. And the first one's out. See the Boston Bruins. But hopefully and prayfully, we do not see the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. If so, rigged. But as it is, and as we do, this has been the edition of Just a Bit Outside. I want to thank you all for like coming out and hanging out on the YouTube channel as we do. Like we're going to be doing it early, but usually 12 to 1. You know, popping off and everything, and then listen to the replay or go on to YouTube and rewatch. Get involved in like, you know, what we're talking about. Or you're on the go. Hey, hit that Spotify button, iHeartRadio, anything that like you've actually got in your car. Join the SSBN crew, be a part with us, and pop on in, hang out, enjoy time, because that's what we do here. But for there and here, and just a bit outside as it is, I'm Topher, I'm the host, and this has been Just a Bit Outside. It is an SSBN podcast, and we are happy to be a part of it. Thank you for joining the first episode of Season 2. Comments, everything, please leave them. I love them to death. I read them. There's probably going to be at some point over the course, I want to do like a segment where I read some questions and comments that are left in the chat. So let's go. And Go Lions. Go Minnesota. Go everybody but the Chiefs. Good night, all.